I know that I make a lot of thick jokes, all right? Everyone's like, Josh says thick too much. Thick this, thick that, thick. Okay, fine. You're right. But this sandwich is mad. So today we're talking about Muffuletta sandwiches. The Muffuletta. Dude, for one, I just want to say that this recipe has the Babish seal of approval. So, Babish, love you, kiss you. So this sandwich is sort of like an Italian Louisiana thing. Supposedly, Italian immigrants brought this to New Orleans, and this is like a really popular sandwich. It's got all sorts of different things, and it's supposed to be humongous. So with all that said, let's make this, shall we?
Okay, so despite preemptively drinking at an hour that I'd rather not describe, I'm gonna start with 3/4 of a cup plus 1 tablespoon or 195 milliliters of water at around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. To that, you're gonna add 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of instant yeast, mix that together and just let that sit for about 10 minutes. In a medium-sized bowl, mix together 2 3/4 of a cup or 415 grams of bread flour, 1.5 teaspoons or 7 grams of fine sea salt, and 1 tablespoon or 14 grams of granulated sugar. Give that some whiskey business, toss it in a big old stand mixer. Make sure to have the spiral hook thingy. Now to the flour mixture, go ahead and add 2 tablespoons or 23 grams of lard or shortening. You can add it at this point, it's fine. Let it mix just a little bit to get incorporated, let it get a little crumbly. Then add in your yeasty water mixture. That sounds nice. And let that mix on medium-low speed for about 5 to 6 minutes or until you get a nice smooth dough like this. Shake that brother into a ball, pop him into a greased bowl. Cover with plastic wrap and let that rise at room temperature for about an hour or until nice and doubled and thicky like this. And as usual, give it some love, some kisses, whatever feels nice, and then beat it down, slap it around, degas that bit, dump it out onto a lightly floured work surface, shape it into a rough ball, but be careful here. We don't want to get it in too tight because then you're going to end up with a giant burger bun, and let's just say that I might have shaped it a little too tight. So the idea is you sort of want a thick disc. Then just place your forbidden disc onto a parchment-lined baking sheet, cover it with a damp towel, and let it proof for 30 minutes at room temperature. Then remove your towel to reveal a grown-up forbidden disc. Now from here it's very simple. Give it a light brushing of egg wash consisting of 1 egg plus 1 tablespoon of water, sprinkle it with some sesame seeds, then you're going to place it into an oven that's set to 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, but for the first 5 minutes, you're going to place an oven-safe pan with a small layer of simmering water in it. That's the steam you need. Then after that 5 minutes, remove the pan, let it bake another 5 minutes at 450, then drop the temperature to 375 for an additional 20 minutes or until you get a beautiful golden brown. Now look, this one looks a little bit like a giant hamburger bun because it wasn't quite shaped thin enough, so just make sure to push it down a little bit. Let it cool to room temperature. Before we go all crazy making our sandwich, we need to start with an easy giardiniera, essentially Italian pickles. Don't be scared, it's really easy. So in a medium-sized pot, go ahead and add 1 quart or 950 milliliters of white vinegar, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of water. I also added a little splash of yuzu vinegar, but you don't have to be fancy like me if you don't want to. 1 tablespoon or 10 grams of kosher salt, 2 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon or 9 grams of coriander seeds, and 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of grains of paradise, both of which were toasted. Then just bring that up to a light simmer, and to that you're gonna add 5 ribs of sliced celery, half a head of cauliflower, florets, 6 coarsely chopped carrots, and 2 thinly sliced red Fresno chilies. Let that simmer for 6 to 8 minutes or just until the vegetable begins to soften a little bit. Okay, we still want this ultra al dente. Scoop the veggies into an appropriately sized jar, add 1 tablespoon or 5 grams of finely chopped fresh oregano, and cover with the pickling liquid. Make sure that there's enough vinegar to cover. If there's not, you can always splash a little in there to cover it, alright? Nobody's gonna know. Then just let that sit until it comes to room temperature. This makes a lot of pickles, so you can have this recipe if you want to. So you might be thinking, Josh, bruv, I've got the bread. I've got the giardiniera. How do I make this proper? My apologies to the English. Now you can't have a great muffuletta without a great olive salad. Mix together 3/4 of a cup or 165 grams of rough chopped black olives, 1 cup or 190 grams of rough chopped, 1 cup or 190 grams of rough 1 cup or 190 grams of rough chopped pitted Castelvetrano olives. Jesus, that is a tongue twister. Half a cup or 60 grams of rough chopped dry cured olives, the really chewy salty boys. 1 tablespoon or 5 grams of fine chopped fresh oregano, 1 finely diced shallot, 3 cloves of garlic grated, we're almost there, 2 large handfuls of giardiniera, rough chop that too by the way, 3 finely diced Thai chilies, and finally, 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of sherry vinegar, a 1/4 cup or 60 mils of extra virgin olive oil, and salt and pepper to taste. Give that a little mixy mix until you've got a beautiful olive salad. Now look, you can let this marinate overnight, but you could also use it right away. Okay, it's time for all your hard work to pay off. Obviously, slice your muffuletta bread in half. I like to toast it in a 50-50 mix of olive oil and butter. Then I just give it a nice, generous brushing of garlic oil, which is just 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and 2 garlic cloves grated into that. That's literally it. The layering order is very important. Begin with a generous layer of olive salad, then a few slices of nice ham. Here I have some Prague smoked ham, a few good slices of nice Swiss cheese, and make sure you're covering the total surface area for the most part. A generous amount of sliced Genoa salami, a few slices of smoked provolone, and by the way, the number of slices is up to you. Just be aware that I did build this sandwich a bit tall, so... And finally, top it with a few slices of excellent mortadella, the best you can find. Then top with another layer of olive salad. Restructure your sandwich because you got a little too buck wild on that there meat slices. And finally, crown your king, drawn quarter, or eighth your sandwich, and let us begin our extraordinary sandwich feast.
It's Muffuletta time. Ultra thicky. This sandwich is the definition of thickness. Okay, not 1, not 2, not 3, not even 4 C's. I'm talking 43.5 C's. If it's not difficult to put in your mouth, it ain't a muffuletta. Without further ado. I'm in the sandwich zone. Hang on. This sandwich is easily the king of all Italian style sandwiches, in my opinion. I mean, okay, well, there's a couple other ones, but all the time spent collectively bringing it together to bring this perfectly balanced sandwich. You've got the saltiness from all the cured meats, you've got some richness and some creaminess from the cheese, funky salami, fatty mortadella, salty smoky ham, and then you've got the acidic, sort of a little bit spicy olive salad, and that olive oil's like drenched in there. This is a freaking, that's gross, sandwich.
This is like a third date sandwich. It's very balanced.
Bun's a little fatty.
But do you want to know what else is a little bit fatty? B-roll.
Alright guys, and that is it. So we made the muffuletta sandwich. The muffuletta sandwich. Just because it's difficult to put in your mouth doesn't mean you shouldn't put it in your mouth. And that's all I have to say about this sandwich. It is extremely good. It's so satisfying. It's everything that you want that has all those like sort of Italian sandwich flavors. It's a beautiful sandwich. This is from me to you. You don't want it? I don't care. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.